Greetings, friends. I'm Marc David, founder of the Institute for the Psychology of Eating. Here we are on Facebook Live. Thank you for coming by. I really appreciate this. And we're going to have a conversation today about a surprising nutritional toxin. Chances are you've never thought about this one, discussed it, heard about it, unless you've been listening to me or people like me. Anyway, I think this is going to be useful for you. I think it will be a little surprising. And my intention is to move us forward in our understanding, of how to best nourish the body, how to best nourish ourselves by having a good sense of the big picture. Body, mind, heart, soul, when it comes to food. So give me a few minutes before I dive into the goodies here. And while I'm waiting for people to hop on, if you wouldn't mind, in the comment section just below, just say, hey, and let me know where you're from. Just give a hello. Let me know where you're from so we can kind of share the love, share the energy. In fact, you could send some love and send some hearts. Thank you across the screen. You probably already know this, that if you've liked our page, then you will be notified every time we do a Facebook Live. And if you know anybody who might be interested in this kind of content, please share it with them. Hello, Miss Emily Ruth from Arizona, and hello, Judy from Arkansas. I'm so glad you're here. I really appreciate it. So, as I said, if you're just coming on and you're hopping on now, we're going to be talking about a surprising nutritional toxin, which I think might surprise you. We're going to break it down. We are going to look at how to elevate ourselves from a nutritional and emotional place. Hello, Rachel from beautiful Utah. I've been there before. And Ann from Utah as well. Glad you're here. I've been exploring Utah a little bit. It's an underrated state, I think. And Cece is here from Chicago. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. I also want to say before we dive in, by the way, if you're coming on, feel free to say hi in the comments section below. Let me know where you're from. Joe from Colorado, around the corner from me. I want to let you know that we are currently enrolling for our eating psychology and mind-body nutrition certification training. In case you don't know, my friends, that is our premier professional offering. It's an 8-month online distance learning training you could take from anywhere in the world. We go over the deep dive into how to work with weight, body image, overeating, binge eating, emotional eating, endless dieting, digestion, fatigue, immunity, lots more. It's a fabulous training. If you want to learn more, email us at info@psychologyofeating.com and we will be happy to answer your questions, set you up, hook you up with an enrollment advisor. And we already have a great group of people from all over the world who have enrolled. So now's the time. The training is by application. And a bunch of people coming on. I wanted to say hi to Kim Grossman in New York and Sally Ann. Thank you for coming by. And Deidre from Pittsburgh. Emily Ruth is in the training and loving every minute. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Renee says hi from the Sunshine State. And Sally Ann says, I really want to do this. I hope you do. Hello, Miranda from Canada. Okay, my friends, let us talk about a surprising nutritional toxin. Now, before I tell you exactly what that toxin is, let's kind of give a hug to this concept of toxins and toxicity. Because as you know, as I know, as we know, we live in an interesting world. We live in a world where there are challenges. There are natural poisons in nature. So part of being a creature alive on planet Earth for eons of time is we have to figure out, what can I eat and what shouldn't I eat? There are certain poisonous foods, certain poisonous substances in nature that one ingestion could kill you. So we want to stay away from those. So we have a built-in sensor for that which is toxic to the body. So that's a good thing. And we live in a time when we have a lot of human-made toxins, hundreds and thousands of chemicals that previously did not exist in nature. And here they are. We've invented them. We've created them. We're exposed to them. They impact us. So I'm not going to go into the challenge of toxicity other than to say it's something we need to be aware of in this world, because every creature must be aware of what nourishes it and what punishes it. So that's one key piece that we just simply have to understand. So here's the thing. Normally, when you and I, and in the nutritional universe, when we're talking about toxins, we're talking about, GMOs, and we're talking about heavy metals, and we're talking about pesticides, we're talking about substances that don't work for the body. And that's a good thing. The surprising toxins that we often miss are the more subtle ones. And the one I want to talk about today is a toxin that I am simply going to call judgment. Judgment is one of the most intense nutritional toxins that I have seen circulating in our universe. Now, what do I mean when I say judgment being a nutritional toxin? When I say judgment being a nutritional toxin, what I mean is how many of us so intensely judge the nutritional beliefs and the dietary practices of others, be they friends, families, stranger, your loved ones. How experts in this realm, how scientists in this realm, how authors in this realm duke it out with each other. Now, spirited argument, love it. Spirited debate, love it. That's a good thing. Intelligence, society, science advances in that way. However, we do not advance morally, intellectually, scientifically, spiritually, if judgment is driving the car. It just doesn't work. So we are living in a time when the experts argue with the experts. Like, I'm not going to listen to that expert, she eats meat. Or I'm not going to listen to that expert, he's a vegan. Or, this person doesn't have an MD or a PhD, why should I listen to them? What could they possibly know about food? Or, you eat sugar. Why would I listen to anybody about anything who eats sugar? Or even, we make assessments about people's shape and their weight all the time. There's a subtlety of weight hate that is just pushing through the universe. Why would I listen to you about food and diet and health and nutrition? Because you look like you could lose a little bit of weight. Says who? So, or look at her, she's old. What can an old person possibly know about health? Oftentimes it's the young people that we're following. So, and some experts are advocating eating more fat, less fat, paleo, vegetarian, raw food. Well, I'm not going to, no, raw food's better than the other ones. So everybody's dietary system seems to be better than everybody else's. Kind of sounds a little bit childish to me, And part of it, my friends, I'm shocked that we are still here. We, the collective we, in the conversation we're all having about nutrition and health, there's still so much judgment in the system. And that holds us back. So I think you get the basic message of what I am trying to share. By the way, Amy Hanson-Williams, thanks for all the love. Glad you're here, Diane. So judgment, I'm going to state the obvious, but sometimes it's just good for us to state the obvious just to remind each other. I'm reminding me, I'm reminding you, I'm reminding anyone who wants to listen. But it's for me because I get passionate about the topic of nutrition, and I'm watching as an elder in the field how judgment holds us back. Judgment limits our perception. It kills IQ points, and it really limits our scope of understanding of life around us. If I told you, hey, there's a man who's about to walk into your life, your workplace, and he's a jerk, don't listen to him, and I tell you some story that sets you up for how you shouldn't like this guy, well, you're going to come in locked and loaded with some preconceived notions. So when this person steps in, you're already in judgment. Why? Because maybe you believe me, maybe you trusted me. And from that place, you're not going to go to this person, hey, who are you? How are you doing? That guy could be your potential best friend, your potential mate, your potential, lifelong partner. And because of a slight wall of judgment, we stop the questioning process. So when we label a diet as bad, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, whatever it is, that's bad, that's dumb, that's stupid, you dismiss it, you stop questioning. You stop good debate. And from there, we stop a conversation that can help us move forward. Virginia's saying, would one of your coaches be a benefit to me? Absolutely. Maybe, perhaps. I'm not sure what you're dealing with, but hey, there are probably a number of coaches in this thread right now. So if you're an eating psychology coach, please feel free to identify yourself in this thread. You know, that's what we do. That's what we're here for. And, you know, I hope you can see from the conversation that we're having right now, this is all about finding for each other what works for you, me, her, him, that person. Because humans are biologically unique. And we have a lot of similarities. And we're unique. We come from different genetic strains. We come from different lineages. We live in different environments, different kinds of seasons, different kinds of climates. We have different lifestyle. We have different needs based on our age, based on our sex, based on the kind of activity that we're doing, based on our personal goals. And all of that is going to intermix to help create the right diet for any human being in any given time. And yeah, it's a bit of a mystery sometimes. But it's okay. We can let go of the judgment. Judgment, by the way, I also want to say this, and forgive me if you've heard me say this, but sometimes it's nice to reinforce it. Judgment impacts physiology. It's not just some thing. We often think we can think these things and they're not going to impact us or the world because the thought stays in my mind and I'm not sharing it. Okay? We think, and it's good. You know, sometimes it's good to hold back our tongue from some of the nonsense that we want to say because it's reactive. And that's part of consciousness. It's part of growth, to monitor our thoughts and to monitor our language. Because how we speak into the world helps create our reality. So what I want to say is judgment impacts physiology. How? When you judge something, you are technically attacking it. When we are attacking something, we are in a fight or flight response. And that's a good thing. Because as soon as the brain registers threat, it will either fight, or it will flee, or it will freeze, or it will do any number of survival behaviors that will try to help the organism continue life. So when we're judging, we're in stress chemistry. Stress chemistry means excess insulin, excess cortisol. Both of those substances, when you secrete them in excess day in, day out, can, and often do, signal the body to store weight, store fat, not build muscle. Additionally, stress deregulates appetite, which could then cause one to eat more than one is actually hungry for, simply because of the stress chemistry and how it affects us. Because the optimum state of eating, of digestion, assimilation, and day in, day out calorie burning happens to be the relaxation response. You and I handle a meal and metabolize it best when we're relaxed. Doesn't that make sense? When we're relaxed, I'm safe. I don't have to be fighting off the enemy. From that place, the body goes, time for a meal, because now I can put my metabolic energy into digestion, assimilation, and calorie burning, as opposed to fighting off the creature that's trying to eat me. So when we're in judgment, judging another because of their diet, judging yourself because of what you ate. See, so this is not just about judging other people, this is about self-judgment as well. Kim Grossman says, I just read a funny quote. I knew I matured when I realized I didn't have to react to everything. I could just let people do their own lame stuff in silence. Isn't that true? Isn't that true? We don't have to be in a constant brawl with the world. So what's going on inside our inner world is impacting our physiology, impacts our digestion. Now, remember this, my friends. We have known this since the 1930s. How do I know that we've known this since the 1930s? Because I was the crazy dude that when I was in my 30s, before early 30s, late 20s, before there was internet, I was in the library. I was in medical libraries looking at old textbooks, trying to dig out research in nutrition, in metabolism, about the body, about stress, because I started discovering, wow, we've had a lot of fascinating information for eons of time. So anyway, so back in the 1930s, scientists were saying the digestive system is fantastically sensitive to the mind and emotions. We're saying this in the 30s. Scientists were recognizing it then, and really, we've known this since time immemorial. This part of the body is fantastically sensitive to emotions. It just is. Our digestive system has a separate yet interconnected nervous system, the enteric nervous system. There are as many nerve cells in your enteric nervous system, approximately 100 million, as there are in your spinal cord. In other words, that's a lot of intelligence, my friend, hanging out in your gut. There's a gut brain. There's as much neural traffic going from gut brain to head brain as there is head brain to gut brain. There's much information flowing from your gut. So your gut's talking to your head as much as your head is talking to your gut. So the point is, all inputs that are coming into our life, all thoughts that we're thinking, emotions that we're feeling, are experienced globally, are experienced in our digestion. So in many ways, and I'm not saying that, let me just say this. Your digestion becomes more empowered. Your digestion becomes stronger as you become a more empowered, stronger, conscious, and aware human being. As you and I learn how to regulate our inner world in a good way, so we're not self-attacking, so we're not constantly living in reaction, in judgment, in anger, in freak out, in fear, in, oh my God, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't think this, oh my God, I don't look good enough, I don't look like this, and we always have this nonsense in our head, and that's a struggle. And if you're self-attacking, the brain perceives attack, but you're attacking self. But we're still creating stress chemistry. And that stress chemistry, once again, impacts digestion, assimilation, and day in, day out calorie burning. Now, I'm not even going into the granular details. I talk about this in my book, The Slow Down Diet. I go into a bunch of the very strong, simple science. And there's so much on this about how stress, excess stress, self-chosen stress, limits the body. So, what does this have to do with judgment? Everything, because judgment is the kind of toxin that excites the nervous system, makes it think we're under attack or that we are attacking, because judgment is an attack. But when I'm judging myself, it's perceived that I'm being attacked, but the attack is me. So it's very confusing to the brain. And the net result is we live in confusion. We live in upset. We live in anxiety. We live in stress. We live in fear. And, you have to eat 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day. And if you're in judgment and fear around the eating process, that means a stress state for a lot of the day. So, which is why it behooves us to work on self when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to having our best physiology. Diane says, this is me 100%. Well, that's good to acknowledge and see, because that's a great starting place. And I really mean that. Great starting place is to be able to look in the mirror and say, oh, wow, I've got this challenge. And to take away the blame. Not like, oh, God, Mark was talking about that, and I'm such a jerk. I can't believe I do this. I'm a knucklehead. Wow, this is so No. Let's step into our maturity, step into your wisdom, step into your character, and say, hey, okay, got it. None of us are perfect. Welcome to planet Earth. This is a place where I can now do work on self. Because what I want to say is, if our approach to nutrition, food, diet, and the body doesn't have love and consciousness in it, please consider it a deficient approach. And I mean that. Every dietary system will ultimately disappoint you if it doesn't have consciousness in it and if it doesn't have love in it. Now, it doesn't mean you can't add that to the equation, because you can invent your diet. You can take any diet and modify it, any way of eating, any philosophy of eating, and make it fit for you. But the point is, can we enter into our relationship with food and body and nutrition and notice when the judgment comes up and catch it? So this is in large part the work that we do as educators in this realm, as eating psychology and mind body nutrition coaches, helping people identify at the very least, okay, where are the places in me where I can shift, work on, look at, make tweaks, make different steps and adjustments such that I can relax, such that my being can relax, my heart and my soul can relax, which then allows my physiology to relax. And when my physiology is in the optimum state of digestion, assimilation, calorie burning, that's a good thing. We're exactly where we want to be in so many ways. So what I want to say is, if you're looking to overcome judgment, notice where your closed-mindedness comes into play around health and nutrition. Just start to notice yourself. Notice where you judge other people. Notice where you judge yourself. The first step to self-development is often just doing an inventory. We inventory the contents of our mind. We inventory the contents of our being, meaning, how am I talking to myself? Because the way we communicate to self drives us in this world. We have an ongoing conversation in our heads with self where we're talking and we're monitoring and we're saying how we feel about me. And when that conversation is a generous one, when that conversation has love in it, has consciousness in it, it doesn't mean it's all lovey-dovey. It doesn't mean there is no feedback in the conversation you have with yourself. There's no rigorous self-examination. Sure, there might be. And there might be a little pain and struggle and upset. And, wow, God, I'm mad at myself for doing that. Great. Go through that. Don't live there. A lot of us, we just kind of pitch our tent in the place called, I'm such a bad human for eating this, not eating that, or looking like this, or not being able to control my diet. And that self-judgment that we have around our eating issues becomes way bigger than the eating issue itself. And oftentimes, my friends, not always, but oftentimes, the eating issue is there to teach us about self-judgment, to point us to a new road, which is self-love, self-awareness, consciousness. So notice where you judge yourself, notice where you're quick to judge others, and notice where you can take a conscious pause. Really, it's as simple as that. It's watching the mind, watching the moment where we are about to go into a bad neighborhood in our head. Take a deep breath and say, oh, here I am about to go into judgment, judgment of self, judgment of another. Deep breath and let it go. That's the practice, not easy. But simple and straightforward and doable. And as you do it, and as you start to create space, as you start to bless people for who they are, what they weigh, what they eat, what they look like, as you start to notice your judgments, and it doesn't mean we're going to get to a place where we are judgment free. Because we're human and we're imperfect, but we can get to a place where we catch ourselves judging and we shift. That is a great, 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 great gift you can give to yourself. And let me tell you, it is an awesome gift if you're a practitioner or a professional that you can give to your clients. One of the greatest gifts we give to our clients as eating psychology and mind-body nutrition coaches is any client that comes into my space, into our space, automatically, already, there's love and acceptance. automatically already you can't do anything more, Mr. or Mrs. Client, to make me regard you any better. Yes, it'll be cool to get to know you more, and the more I get to know you, the more I can enjoy you. But as a human being, you don't have to lose any weight, eat any different, do anything different, get rid of your symptom, get rid of your eating issue for me to go, oh, I like you. Or, oh, I respect you more. So we already start at the level of respect called, you don't have to change anything, Mr. and Mrs. Client, for me to love, accept you, regard you, respect you anymore. And yes, I want to help you get where you need to go. But we're going to take a road of self-empowerment to get there. We're going to take a road of self-love as best we can. We're going to watch where all the judgment shows up, and we're going to notice how that judgment is a poison pill on our journey. Judgment will always stop you in your tracks if you let it take over long enough, you know? And you and I, we didn't invent judgment. So don't judge yourself if you're judgmental in any way, shape, or form about you, your body, your weight, your health. We didn't invent that. The world invented it, goodness knows how long ago. And we're born, and this is something we as humans need to learn just how to modulate, how to deal with. It's okay. It's okay. It's not that bad. And sometimes it gets a little bad, and sometimes we need help. Oftentimes we need help, especially, my friends, and you know this, we live in a day and age. Here's what I think. I think for some reason, there's so much self-attack and self-judgment coming at us, entering our minds, telling us, you got to be different, you got to be better, you got to be this, you have to be that. We look around, you watch the movies, you watch the TV, you look on the internet, and we compare. We compare ourselves to the images that we're getting from Hollywood, and it doesn't work for us. So we have to empower ourselves. We have to create the world that we want. Diane is saying, how do I find a coach? Okay, one way to do that is if you go to psychologyofeating.com, that's our website, psychologyofeating.com, and we have an eating psychology coach directory. You could also email us at info@psychologyofeating.com. We'll send you that link. Even if you tell us what your challenge is, we can do our best to match you up with a coach. So that is a great way to get going. Email us at info@psychologyofeating.com. Ask us to send you the link for the directory, or go to psychologyofeating.com. Poke around the top navigation bar. You will find the directory for eating psychology coaches all over the world. They can meet with you in person. They can meet with you over the phone. They can meet with you via Skype. Nikki is saying, is this judgment about weight or judgment about everything? Thank you, Nikki. I love that question. So here we are, this Institute for the Psychology of Eating. So we're talking about food. We're talking about weight. We're talking about health and body. But we're talking about everything. Because in nutrition, as in life, it's all a metaphor. It is all connected. Thank you, Diane. So it's all connected, Miss Nikki. So what I'm saying is, yes, this is about weight. But if you're judging, I don't know, your parents, a lot of people have a lot of judgment about their parents. Why? Because our parents weren't perfect. They didn't do a great job. When you carry judgment around your parents, like intense judgment, and I'm not saying they didn't do anything wrong. I'm not saying they didn't harm you. I'm not saying they might not have been bad guys at some point. And there comes a time in life when judgment no longer works for us. Judgment for a time can be very motivating. God, I'm so mad at my parents. I'm so mad at my family. I'm going to go off and I'm going to meet new people and learn on my own. So in a lot of ways, judgment can help spring us into different directions. So that's not a bad thing. However, comes a point where we have to learn to metabolize life. You will have a better ability to digest your meal as you learn how to digest your life more. Digesting your life means taking in all of it. What works for me? What doesn't? Oh, this past experience, yeesh, that was a hard one. Let me metabolize that. Let me take those poisons that came from that experience and just excrete them out of my system. So yeah, that takes a little work. But the point is, we are learning how to exchange with our world in a way that elevates us. So there comes a point where judgment stops us. It stops intelligence. It stops wisdom. It stops health. It stops love. It stops connection. It stops the magic. It's plain and simple. And think of times in your life when you were so judgmental towards, I don't know, yourself for a particular reason, a specific person for a particular reason. You were judgmental in a certain direction. Somehow that changed. Somehow that shifted. And now you're looking back on that time and you go, wow, how did I get so stuck in that? And look at the difference now. I'm so free. When we let go of judgment, we become a little bit more free, my friends. So our task is a good one, and this is doable. And it's a daily practice. So here's what I also want to say, and this is how we train our coaches is very important. So many of us in this day and age, we are looking for the quick fix, my friends. We want the pill. We want the diet. We want the lottery ticket. And it's sexy. It's sexy when you read the book, the 2-minute cure for this, or the take this pill and it's all going to change, or eat this. Oh, man, I don't like false promises. Stop. Don't do it. In the nutrition realm, in the food realm, in the diet realm, there are so many big, juicy, false promises that we make. And it doesn't work anymore. So we live in a time where we have to stop grabbing at the quick fix and start doing life. And life happens moment to moment to moment. Healing happens moment to moment. Is healing accelerated in certain moments? Absolutely. There's times when all of a sudden things come together, things shift, and I heal. I heal my relationship with food, or I heal my dis-ease or my nagging symptom that was there for so long. Yeah, that healing can happen in a night, but oftentimes it's preceded by efforts, by changes in diet, by changes in self, by trying different systems, different approaches. So the healing journey takes time. We have to have patience. And oftentimes we get into judgment around time because we think we should be there already. So we judge ourselves for not being there already. And life takes time, growth takes time, healing takes time. And that's a beautiful thing. It really is. This is a lifetime commitment. Your health is a lifetime commitment. Your personal development, your expansion into your potential, the thing you know you got a potential in there. There's a full expression of you in there somewhere. That takes time to cultivate. That takes time to draw out of us. So we have time. And at the same time, it's good to proceed and make things happen. So my friends, I certainly hope this was helpful for you. We've been talking about a surprising nutritional toxin called judgment. I want to remind you, for those people who have been in this thread, and if you're looking for an eating psychology coach, email us at info@psychologyofeating.com. We will point and shoot you in the right direction. If you are at all interested in our upcoming professional training, the Eating Psychology and Mind-Body Nutrition Coach Certification Training, I would love for you to learn more. I really would. We're excited about this training. I'm excited about it. The Institute's been around now, 11 years. I have been doing this work really since I came onto this planet. It's my passion. It's my thing. It's my mission. And I'm very one-pointed and driven around counteracting just so much of the unfortunate judgment and the bad memes and the bad advice and the limitations that are placed on us in terms of the body, in terms of food, in terms of nourishment. And we really need a bigger approach. And that approach, yes, it has to include smart science. It really does. It's got to include a clinical understanding. It has to include heart. It's got to include soul. There has to be great practical tools and tricks and techniques. Anyway, that's what we specialize in here. That's our thing. I am so appreciative. If you know anybody who might be interested in this work, please share it with them. If they like our page, they will get notifications when I are coming on to do a Facebook Live. Have a great weekend, my friends. I so appreciate being on this journey with you. I so appreciate having a conversation that matters. Take good care of yourself, and I'll speak to you soon.